Hello everyone, I'm Karma Soleil, multi-genre composer and musician, and today I'm just talking about my experience in a vlog casual type. I wrote down my notes as to what I've learned in these 3 years. For those of you that have a short attention span, don't worry, I got you. It's right here. Everything I've learned in my 3 years on YouTube. Screenshot to your heart's content. But for the rest of you that are curious about me and my Soulful and Nice journey, let's begin with July 21st of 2025, when I got the notification that it is my 3rd year anniversary, and it was about a few days after I reached 1,000 subscribers, I believe. So, yay! Thank you everyone for that. I really love the community that's being built here because there are so many creative people who have the heart, the spirit, the drive, and the passion. So that's a good thing. Shout out to all of you who are following me on this journey. Thank you. Let's keep talking. Let's keep this alive, all right? I'm not monetized yet, so I'm optimistic. I'm staying positive because I've been consistent with this in my own way. And we'll talk about that later. So I'll probably do another blog like this at the next milestone that I reach, whenever that may be, maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 years, just to check in with myself as a person, as a creator, as a business owner, and also to share. Because if you're like me and you're doing all of this by yourself, it's nice to just see where you're at, if any other creators are experiencing similar things or different things to you, or maybe you can get new ideas from other people by watching them. If I can help out in any way, that's great. So I'm sharing my experience today. Jessica thinks I should actually call this video How to Do YouTube Without Killing Yourself. And that's pretty funny because it's been a test. It has been a serious challenge these last 3 years, just to keep my head on straight. I might call it that, I don't know, but for right now I'm just gonna call it Everything I've Learned, Personal Experiences on YouTube as a creator. So let me look here. I wrote down everything. Be you. Authenticity. There are so many people on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all over social media, and in our lives in person. What makes us unique is who we are. And if we're constantly trying to be like somebody else, it's not going to work. You can look at other people and see what they're doing and maybe get some ideas as to maybe this is how I can do it too. But at the end of the day, be you. Authenticity is important because it's what makes you feel comfortable every single time you have to be in front of the camera, every time you have to show up in life. And you have to be comfortable with that. To put on a face all the time is exhausting. So being you is very important. And that's one thing I had to learn because I was looking at other people thinking, maybe if I did it this way, I didn't actually want to be on the camera. I'm a musician. I like being behind the scenes. The only place I want to be in front of an audience is on stage. So to be like this is a little different for me. And I had to find myself in this capacity, and I'm opening up more and more to be like this, and it's starting to be a little fun because I feel like I'm talking to maybe a friend on the other side, and it's fun for me. Avoid marketing scams. Now, I have been doing music for over 20 years. I'm a musician. I play saxophone, piano, and various amounts of other instruments. I've released albums. I've performed. I was professionally performing before any of this YouTube even began. So I was offline for most of my musical career. So when I decided to do YouTube, I thought to myself, well, I have all of the skills already. So maybe I just need a marketer, because I can't do everything by myself. I need to delegate some things. And so I looked for a person to be my marketing assistant, like my primary marketer. And 2 of those people actually turned out to be scams. They were using bots, click farms, things like that. And I didn't even know because their reviews said that they were very good at what they did. They had glazing reviews, like positivity galore. And I thought, okay, this is good. No. I feel like I got put into YouTube jail of sorts because I saw my views go up, down, around, and everything. It was just so inconsistent to the steady growth that I was starting to grow already that I said to myself, it's going to be very, very difficult to find a marketer that can be on my team for this. So until the meantime, I have to do everything myself. So I've been avoiding marketing scams, and some of you may have seen them. They might pop into your DMs saying they can help promote you for something or that, or they see your channel and say you're not optimized enough or whatever it is. You've seen them. If you've been on YouTube long enough, you've gotten some of these comments or something like that in a message, a DM, an email even. Avoid them. Just avoid them, because it's going to be worse off for you. And I feel like I've had to work extra hard just to get my channel back to where it's kind of at right now. So try to just maintain your own focus to your mission, and eventually you'll get some reputable marketers and digital marketing people who are legitimate and can actually help you. And that's what I hope to have in the future, somebody who could help me with my marketing. But until then, I'm doing organic marketing. I'm old school, so I'm just doing networking, and that's how I'm doing my marketing. And it's easier for me because it's in alignment with what I want to do. Eventually, I might go back to doing Google Ads again, because I did dabble in some of that by myself, because I'm teaching myself all of these new skills. It's been a lot. So I've been teaching myself Google Analytics and Google AdSense and all of this stuff, Facebook, Instagram, all of these types of digital promotional tools I've been teaching myself, and it is helpful to a degree. But I would say wait until you're ready. Wait until you get some kind of hold onto where you are. Wait until you have a foundation established, and then seek out the marketing. Have a catalog of some form of content that you can use to curate into a marketing campaign. That would be my advice, because that's what I'm going to do. Next is trial and error forever. I touched on this about how I'm learning so many things. Yes, I've had to tap into so many different aspects and industries just to do music. I am music first, musical production first. And I'm having to learn video production, video and audio, because it's a different type of audio that is associated with video. So this is still something I'm learning and trying to get better at, because it's about improving. And I know I would prefer to just do music, honestly. I would prefer to just do music production. Everything about music is my passion, my craft, is everything to me. And I know that we're not in times like that where we can just focus on the one thing that we're good at. We need to be a Jill or a Jack of all trades kind of thing. And it is exhausting. But go easy on yourself, because we are all learning, especially those of us who have one great skill and we have to learn this other one in order to do that one great skill. So go easy on yourself, give yourself time, grace, and patience, and stay learning. This entire journey, even in life, I've been experiencing that it's a constant evolution of education. You're always learning something new. Next is YouTube is unpredictable. Very unpredictable. You may have come across some of the YouTube advice of people telling you what you can do to increase your subscriber count, what you can do to increase your watch time hours, what you can do to find your niche or niche down or whatever it is. One size does not fit all. So you can do all of those things, which I like to call myself the guinea pig of trying everything to see what will work. and not all of them worked. I would say a couple things worked as far as changing my settings, which is just something general that we all need to know, how to use YouTube. But in terms of my own content, I make music, I compose, I am a musician. Do I teach? How do I create engagement with these types of things? And especially if I want to do something that nobody else is doing. If you go through some of my videos, I do movie music trailers, things like that. I've been trying to be the composer for films for a while by networking and engaging in things like that. And then sometimes I don't get the opportunities to be the film composer that I would like to be when I network with others, because either there's not a lot of opportunities, there's no vacancies, they choose somebody that they've already worked with. So it's really difficult to get into that scene. So here I am, somebody who doesn't have the opportunity to get into the scene, and I'm trying to create my own scene. How can I follow somebody else's advice on YouTube about getting into a scene when nobody else is in that scene? If you catch my drift. So sometimes you just have to take some of that advice with a grain of salt and say, okay, let me see if that even applies to me, because it might not. And I went through a series of just YouTube tutorials and education, just trying to figure out, like, is there something I'm doing wrong? Because this was a new area for me. And I just realized I just need to stay focused, stay in my lane, blinders on, run your race, because my race is different from her race or his race or their race or whatever. It's different. Which just leads me to the next one. Consistency in your craft. Now, when I say consistency in your craft, I am not talking about post every day, post 3 times a week, or none of the nonsense. Consistency in your craft. Be consistent with what you do. If you only have 1 day per week to focus on your craft, and it's just 1 full day, be consistent with that 1 full day. Because a lot of us have jobs, we have children, we have, obligations, we have a lot of other things that are happening in our lives that we can't be on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, or everything every day. I've actually had to cut down all of my social networks into just YouTube because it was just becoming too much. I can't focus on everything all the time. And that also helped me focus, narrow down. And it also helped me be consistent. I knew what I wanted to do. I created my own schedule to do my craft. And then I managed that. I merged that with YouTube. Community is awesome. So I do have what I like to call soulful and nice allies. And these are the people who I've worked with, who share my values in kindness, reliability, professionalism, and just overall good vibes. And I like that because not only have I met these people through networking or just researching online, trying to find professionals that I can work with, I've also built a community here with all of you. And that is a beautiful thing to me because it tells me that we all have a little bit of something in common. And there's like a little piece of dream in every single one of us, and that's resonating. And I like that because this is a safe space here. This is a safe space of creativity, sharing what we do, sharing what we love. No crazy drama. It's a safe space. And I like that. It's a place you can come to knowing, hey, I know I'm going to feel good if I go over to Soulful Nice and chat with Karma, It's kind of one of those things. So I really feel great. And even when I go over to some of the other people that I'm subscribed to, I'm part of their communities. Community is awesome. That's all I got. Community is awesome. You're the boss. Make YouTube work for you. Now YouTube has these requirements, right? How to be monetized. 3 video uploads in 3 months, 90 days, 1,000 subscribers, and 4,000 watch hours. That's full monetization on YouTube. And the shorts requirements are different. I'm only concerned about the videos because I like long form. Those are the requirements. So when you know what the requirements are, you can build your life, your business, whatever it is that you want around those parameters. 3 videos in 3 months, that's 1 video a month. When I took that into consideration, I said to myself, well, what can I do that works with my schedule, with what I need to do in my life, and still meet the requirements of being monetized on YouTube? 1 video every month. But I told myself, you know what, maybe I'm able to do 2. And then I had to move. So I had no videos come out for a while. That's life. You understand what I mean? That's life. It happens. But you can come back, like I've had to multiple times. You can come back and just pick up where you left off. And that gave me some sense of security, some sense of ease and peace, where when I first started, I was just stressed. It's like, oh my God, I didn't post yesterday. I need to make sure I post at 11 p.m. every night or whatever it was. It was ridiculous. And then I said, this is not sustainable for me in my life. I might end up killing myself, like from burnout, from burnout by doing this. So I had to figure out a better situation for me to be able to do what I love, do YouTube, go to work, take care of my own responsibilities outside of work, and make it happen. You are the boss. I know it gets kind of intimidating sometimes to read about a lot of the news and everything that's going on, especially with trying to be a creator, AI taking over, or whatever it is. But this is something that you can have control over. Your time and where you use it and how you choose to use it. Following trends is exhausting. Evergreen is fun. Now what I mean by that is, but I did try to do a couple trends at some point. You might see some of my silly Sundays where I was doing some trends just for fun, just to see what would happen. And truth be told, it was kind of fun. I mean, I can't believe I did tutting. I was learning how to do fingers and whatnot. It was fun. I was following trends, but to keep up with the trend, that was quite exhausting. And I became very, very tired because with every new trend, I would have to learn a new skill, a new dance, a new something, and try to integrate that into my already chaotic schedule. So I decided, I'm like, what's something I can do that no matter at what point of the year it happens, that people can always come back to it? Evergreen content. Evergreen is something that is applicable no matter what time of year we're in. I started my other channel, Financially Sparkling, and that is primarily where I put a lot of my evergreen content because it's something that you'll need no matter what time of year it is. Everybody will need to know about savings. Everybody will need to know about investing. Everybody will need to know these things. They're timeless. That's evergreen. And then it's similar with music. Something that you can teach. I have my how to sample video. That's something that's evergreen. People are always going to want to know how to sample. And I use Studio One, so I'm like, this is how you can sample on Studio One. Something that's evergreen, that no matter how many years go by, people can always come back to it. I like doing evergreen content. Trends are fun to do every now and then, but to keep up with the Joneses is exhausting, and I just don't have the energy for it, if I'm being real. Try not to fall into the perfectionism trap. It's real. Check yourself. I've had to check myself multiple times trying not to fall into the perfectionism trap. When I first started YouTube, I thought every video needed to be good. I needed to put a lot of time into learning video editing and all of this other stuff. And I was being too much a perfectionist about it. And in a way, it really slowed me down. Because think about it, when you're starting off with a new channel, you probably don't have any subscribers. Nobody's watching. You're performing to an empty auditorium. There's no one here. So what's the point of all this perfectionism that's trying to stop you from just doing something? Now's the time to practice on the stage in front of the empty auditorium, so that the moment the audience does start to show up, you're already ready, because you've been doing this in front of no one for so long. Then it's like, I'm already professional already. I've practiced, tripping over my feet, falling, doing random crazy ass edits. I've already done everything that's crazy. So now's the time to show what I've got. Now's the time. Yeah. Try not to fall into the perfectionism trap. Just do it. I know a lot of us, we are creators. We have it. We always have this vision that we want it to look this way. We want it to be that way. We want it to look a certain way, feel a certain way, do a certain thing. It's too much. Just do it. And then once you're done doing it, you'll learn from that experience and do something different the next time. Experience gives us that wisdom, and we learn and grow from that. And that's what I learned doing YouTube, especially when it came to video editing. Video editing is my Achilles heel. I do not enjoy video editing, but I really enjoy seeing the aftermath of what it looks like when it's done. So there's that. There is some silver lining. Next, explore your craft outside of limitations. What I mean by that is sometimes we don't have everything we need to do what we think we should be doing and to do what we want to do. When I started my YouTube, I had a computer, a camera, and I had just purchased a MIDI keyboard. That is all I had. Oh yes, and Dorico, the software to, create my sheet music. That's all I had. That is it. I did not have Studio One. I had nothing else. That is it. I had to figure out how to create content within those limitations. And I didn't let it stop me either. I had been living next to a place of construction. It was loud. It was really, really difficult to try to do any kind of video editing. Neighbors are loud. The conditions were not ideal, is where I'm getting at. You have to try to explore your craft outside of those limitations. You have to keep trying. So maybe instead of doing something that requires audio from outside, you just do something that's just right here. Just use your phone for whatever. You will go back to my channel and see that sometimes I just didn't have anything. So I just played on my piano with whatever audio that came from my phone. Kind of like what I'm doing right now. This is all on my phone. Work. Explore your craft outside the limitations. It's just use what you've got. It's not going to be perfect all the time. Just use what you got. There is no such thing as the ideal conditions or the ideal situation. It's not always like that. Life is, what am I trying to say here? It's hard to be on the fly sometimes. Life constantly throws us lemons. And we can decide, do I want to make lemonade or do I want to make a lemon meringue pie? What do I have that I can use to create with this? I was exploring with visualizers, and I said, okay, if I can't record new videos, maybe I can just make visualizers and crediting other people who made those visualizers so that I can just use it as a template and add my own music to it, which is what I did. I explored my craft outside of my limitations. I tried to find other ways to still be consistent within my craft. And that's a difficult thing to do. We just have to open our minds. We just have to look at what we've got use what we got, do what we can, you know? Avoid AI. Now, I was using AI at the beginning when it all started, when it still looked terrible, when you couldn't, the eyes were all off and stuff. We were making jokes about it. It was innocent. It was some kind of new novelty to use. So I was using AI at that time before it became a threat to humanity. But now that it's causing a lot of controversy, there's a lot of problems surrounding it. It's displacing a lot of people in the entertainment industry and in other industries. It's becoming so unregulated that it's creating problems. So the last you will see of AI on my channel is from when I released my album Milieu from the shorts. I was promoting the songs from my album using an AI thing that I generated from Pika Labs. That's the last of AI you will see on my channel. And I'm being transparent here because it's still my music. It's still something I created. So I'm just leaving it up there for the musical purposes. But maybe in the future, once I have a bigger budget, I'll be able to pay more designers, illustrators, and animators to reimagine my shorts, my singles from that album. Or I'll just delete it altogether. Either way it goes, that's the last of AI that you're going to see on my channel. And on a lot of my music videos, you will notice that I'm working with real people. Whenever I get the funds or the budget to pay a real artist, a real animator, illustrator, etc., I pay them. I do. I respect artistry so much that I pay people for their time. And whenever I get the money to do it, I will do it. And I say that to a lot of the animators that I've worked with. I said, I don't have the money now, but when I do, I will pay you. Because we're all artists. And I know that a lot of people don't value our art as much as it needs to be. Because we put a lot of time, effort, and energy into mastering our crafts. So I appreciate that, and therefore I'm willing to pay for what it's worth. And you'll be seeing another video on my channel. I love working with animators. I just like animation, and hopefully soon, once I get enough or a bigger budget, I can draft some more artists into Soulful Nice, and we can turn into a full production studio where I have illustrators, animators, videographers, cinematographers, and we're just gonna create this. We're going to bring our imaginations to life, you know? And I'm looking forward to that day that I'll have a team that I can, you know, employ in a way. I can pay them for what they're worth. That's what I'm looking forward to. The day I can just say, what's your price? Here it is, because you're worth it. You know, I'm looking forward to that day. Cliche is easy. Originality takes time. Now, when I say cliche, I'm referring to the clickbaity titles that have recycled content. It might sound like it's too good to be true. If it works for you, that's great. But if you're watching these people, don't think that you have to do that in order to get that same success. If that's not how you're aligned, if that's not part of who you are and what you're trying to do. If the cliche is your hustle, then do what works for you. But if the cliche is not your hustle and it doesn't feel right, you're kind of morally conflicted, then that's not what you should do. You can find another way to do it. Originality just takes a little longer, but once you've found your originality pathway, that's when you are the trendsetter. You are the one paving the way for other people who feel just like you. You've created a path now. It takes time to create that path, you know? The cliche path is very easy. It's like, oh, people are curious, they're interested, they're like, oh my god, drama sells, you know? But if that's not what you want, then start here. It'll take a little longer, but at least you'll feel better about it. Well, those are the things that I've learned in my 3 years of YouTube, and I'm sure I'm missing a few other things. But let me know what you have learned on your YouTube journey down below in the comments. Maybe you're not the only one that has felt the way you felt.